Guys, it is shovel challenge time. And you're, what's the shovel challenge? Well, hey, glad you asked. Take the shovel, go out to your ditch near your field. Obviously, you don't, for the first challenge, you don't find a spot underwater, but you just find a normal spot in your ditch. You pop the shovel down, you rock it back, and you look at what that soil looks like. Then you go out to your field and find a okay looking spot between your corn rows, and you do the same thing and see if you can see a difference in the soils. So I'll just go here in the ditch, we'll pop a chunk up and see what we see. I travel to one of my fields where I had to do some tillage, and we go in between the corn rows and we'll pop a shovel out. You know, I like to take the shovel and kind of do a square with it and then rock that chunk out, but whatever. You're feeling how the shovel's going in the ground, and then we're going to look at the soil. So here's a spot that's only been a couple years, several years, I think. 2017 would have been no-till beans. 2016 would have been strip-tilled corn. 2015 would have been no-tilled beans, I would believe. So we got quite a bit of residue down here. So the strip-till in 16, you can see, would have been right on this pass here. So we'll just take a stab and see what happens. Kind of hard to do one-handed. But we just rock the shovel, and you don't have to cut a square if it goes in nice. I cut a square on sod ground just because, look at, before I even go, there's a worm crawling across the top, eating away already. So we just rock him. Stupid leaves. We just rock him back, and we'll carry that up to the four-wheeler. So what's the point of the shovel test? Well, everything. There is so much we can learn. I'm not a biologist. I would, if I won the lottery, I guess after meeting Kaylee Gash, I would have her have an office out here that she could spend part-time, and agronomist Lee from North Dakota, they could just be out here part-time having fun and doing the science work for me. But as a farmer, there is so much we can see with just a shovel and our eyeballs and a little bit of an open mind, to be honest with ourselves. So we take a chunk out of the ditch, you know, so over by that tree behind me, I took a chunk of sod out. That would represent our check. That is what our soil should look like after hundreds of years of not being disturbed. Then we do the conversion, where it's only been a couple years no-till, and then we grab a chunk of tilled soil, and we can see, and what we're looking at is the structure, how it's holding together, life, roots, airspace, and density. Now, we don't have tools. You and I as farmers, we don't have tools to measure airspace and water percentages and all that kind of stuff, but we have our hands. You can feel the density. Obviously, a couple of these soils feel like a fluffy angel food cake, and the tilled soil is dense, like just a wet fruit cake, pudding cake, just that you're going to be full after 2 bites kind of. It's just dense and heavy. So let's look at them. All right, so here's my check. This is the sod, and you know, that soil structure. That how good is that ground gonna be? I stand on it. You see it kind of squish out and shape out. If I stand on it and it's holding together, all the roots and airspace absorb that energy from my weight transferring it, and it held together and it moved, but it's still there, guys. It's not compacted. I can still just peel off, and you get that nice fluffy. Remember all these tillage guys, and I don't know a funny nickname yet for Ag PhD, because I don't think there's much PhD in it. They always talk about, yup, you gotta have that light, fluffy, nice soil. How much fluffier are you gonna get than this? How how much fluff. Look at that. That is just absolutely gorgeous. All them little hair roots in there. That's absorbing our water. That's getting our water, our air into the soil. That's helping us fight the compaction. And the weight, the overall weight of this is not that heavy. Is not that heavy, but it... How's that for soil structure? Whip that sucker against the ground, and we still got pieces hanging together. That's something. That huge ball, we could almost put him back together, but look at the dried up cottage cheese in it. That you know, we don't need. I guess there's a guy floundering around here by myself. They asked me why I went to North Dakota, all the way to North Dakota, to do a soil health bus tour. One, there is nothing like that going on anywhere remotely near me. The university, I guess, does some stuff by Morris, but I've never seen any huge information. I've tried reaching out to the university and just get a "why are you calling us" kind of attitude from people that are supposed to be on this soil health kick and research. My local agronomists, we will talk about that in another video, literally tell me this does not work here. And it ain't just one guy that's saying it. It's several local agronomists that I used to count on heavily when I was doing full tillage. But now that I've going down this crazy train, so I had to go to North Dakota to basically for validation of what I'm doing. But I guess short story long is we don't need scientists here, guys. You and I are the scientists. To hell with all the people that are naysayers and all that stuff. And we're gonna get this on our own with just some basic common sense. So we know what our Czech soil looks like. That is hundreds of years without tillage. Roots all the way down to the very bottom. You can see the clay. We start to run into our clay. We start to see some of the naturalness of our soil. We can see, sometimes we can see evidence of, there's a little stinking grub I will kill. I don't like all soil life. Every once in a while, we can see evidence to show us our high water table around here, but you know, we got a worm. Keep track of what you see for worms. We got a couple worms popping out. So that is our check. That's the check. So then we come to, I was lucky enough to be able to find some tilled soil in my neighborhood. You can see it don't even hold together. Just sliding it off the shovel, it's already fallen apart. It's got horizontal fracture lines. There is roots, old roots, because it's been deep ripped and things stirred up, and there was, you know, some deep roots from last year, but it just falls apart. But well, I can't even pick it up. I think I picked the absolute best spot I could to give conventional till the most fighting chance. I went to the shaded stuff next to tree lines. So tree lines, if you chase in 40, 50, 60 feet and you dug a hole, you will find tree roots. They will get out that far. And what are they going to be? They're going to be little tiny roots out there. So there is a good worm there. Like I said, I tried to give conventional till the most fighting chance I could, but that soil structure, well, there is no soil structure. So what happens if we drive on that soil with our tractor? It just mushes all apart because there's nowhere for the soil to go. And then now what? Now we have compacted soil. There's no airspace. There's no spot for water to go down. There's no spot for oxygen to get in. That is compacted. If there anyone out here watching that is going to debate that is now compacted soil, that represents our grain cart, our tractors, and everything, all our heavy other equipment running on across the field that we normally use. So what do we have to do this fall? We need to disc rip because it's compacted. Well, where did the compaction come from? It didn't come from our equipment. Compaction is a byproduct. Compaction is caused from poor soil health. Our equipment is just the one that takes the blame. Our equipment is the scapegoat. Our soil health is the real problem. What are you going to do with that? Yep, there's one worm in there. That's good. He's doing as best he can. This is an awesome environment for him to be in. This is some of the blacker dirt we're going to find around here. Like I said, I found a spot that's cool, shaded. We just had recent moisture. That's the best I can do for the tillage, guys. 2 years of no-till after 1 year of strip-till after, or no, a year of no-till, strip-till, no-till, and now no-till this year after hundreds of years of full tillage. After 100 years of full tillage, in 3 years, what have we gained? We still have a lot of that horizontal fracturing. You can see that. But look at the live roots way down here at the 8-9 inch mark. That is awesome. And them are big. Look how big they are. So we got that going. We're just starting to get some soil structure going. We already had a worm here. Got a big worm here. Look at all the roots. There's another worm, and there's another worm. There's a big worm hole. Same thing. I don't know if this is healed enough. Remember, guys, this no-till stuff isn't a 1 year event. So I don't know if he's healed enough that he'll still. Oh, he's stuck together. I can bounce on him. Well, son of a gun. I guess I did not expect that. Ha! You can already see the bugs there, but this residue absorbed my foot a lot too, you know, when you think. All right, my phone quit right as I got done jumping on it, so I don't know exactly what's going on with that. I'll try and pay better attention. So I kind of broke it apart. I was explaining that all this residue on top, that's our initial compaction fighter. Many reasons. We got the soil life coming up to get to that residue, our big bugs, our worms and grubs and beetles and things like that, and some fungus and bacteria that are shallow up there, ants and all them other bugs. They're creating channels in and out of that soil. So there's our first line of compaction defense, because them channels allow air to get in, allow water to infiltrate through the soil so our profile isn't so saturated. And then that also gives us them airspace. So as we compress that soil, it gives some springiness. The other thing is this residue, as we drive on it, it gets compacted into the soil, and then it gets compacted. But since you can't compact that, it never stays compacted. It gives a springiness, and then as it gets decayed in the soil from the micro life and the big life, then that creates more pores again. So you can see our check of what our zero farmed soil should look like, where we were for the past 100 years, where we are in the last 4 years, and how quickly we are coming back to that. We can fast forward that by doing corn on corn. I know that sounds funny, but corn on corn puts tremendous roots and whatnot into the soil. We can do the cover cropping with our crops to add more roots and diverse roots to our soil and profile, and really fast forward that. At some point, we just have to accept the fact that this is a take time, going to have some failures as we go kind of project. We've been destroying this earth for 100 years, and we've been treating this topsoil like dirt for 100 years, and we can't just fix it overnight. It's going to take 5, 6, 7 years to really fix it. But it is 5, 6, 7 years that's worth an investment when you think back to, like, oh, I don't know, anybody heard of a dust bowl? Things like that are happening today at alarming rates. It's just nobody wants to really discuss it. But yeah, guys, we don't have to be scientists. We've got our hands. We can feel density. We can feel and we can see things. We don't need the scientists to figure out our soil health and whatnot. So my challenge to you guys is go out to your ditch, next to your crop somewhere, pop a couple holes in the ditch, see what your soil looks like. Go out into your rows, look for some stuff and see what your soil looks like. I will leave it at that. Have fun. Let's post some results of what you guys find out. You know, my video is changing. My channel is changing to more of a farm health type channel. I'm pretty much dropping for the non-farmer stuff. YouTube is already full of 900 million farmers trying to communicate to the non-farmers. I'm not going to make a dent in that. I want to communicate to other farmers that we can do better. That we need to stop treating our soil like dirt, kind of deal. Our water is a resource, not a pollutant or a hassle. Our manure is a resource, not a pollutant or a hassle. So guys, go get your shovels out, do some testing, and have fun. Report back, talk to each other. Let's get this forum started. And so, all right, guys, have fun. Thank you much.